Here we have the new 2025 Nissan Pathfinder. This one's a platinum trim level, 2-wheel drive, boulder gray pearls, the paint, and then we have chestnut leather interior. Powertrain consists of a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6, made it to a 9-speed automatic transmission that gets us 284 horsepower, 259 pound-feet of torque, up to 5,000 or 6,000 pounds towing with this one. But front end here, we do get our LED headlamps along with our LED daytime running lights. And ever since this got its redesign, it still looks really modern compared to the competition here. They just did a real good job when these first came out, kind of being ahead of the curve in terms of just the sleeker body lines, the LED headlamps, just making everything look good. Down here to these wheels, these are gonna be 20-inch alloy. Passive keyless entry, all 4 doors. Memory seat function. One-touch up and down windows on all 4 doors. Rear window locks. We get power folding side mirrors. Power door lock controls. Blind spot monitors in the side mirrors there. And I just love the trim. But steering assist can be turned on or off there. Heads-up display, lift gate, brightness for the gauge cluster. Hood release. Power tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And then here we have our power driver seat with 2-way power lumbar support. But I want to give a huge thanks to John Roberts Nissan here in Manchester, Tennessee for allowing me to review this Pathfinder today. I'll leave a link below in the description. But if you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. If I can hook these on here. So that's the rear blinds, how they work. Kind of difficult to get them on as opposed to having them flip the other way, but I'd rather have them than not, I'll tell you that. Now this seat's folded flat, so that's how that'll fold down there. Now you can see the seats right here. Pretty good leg space in the second row here, very good actually. Top tethers are integrated on the back of the seats themselves. I love the center console, how you get the bottle holders in the middle and storage there. And then to the AC controls, you can control those from the back, so you can turn on the airspeed here, temperature there, and then fan direction here, and then you get the 3-stage heated outboard seats. USB-C, USB-A charge port, and a 120-volt 3-prong household plug-in. Now I will say I love that we have 2 different charge ports, because this happens to me so often. I'll have a USB-A in like a rental car. I'll have the USB-A cord with me, but all the ports are USB-Cs, and then I can't charge my phone, so I like having those options there. Now the back, USB-A, 2 bottle holders there, and then USB-A and 2 bottle holders on that side as well. Now I'm gonna try and get the 3rd row up. There's the fuel filler. Back in there. And while the lift gate comes up, there's a tow hitch, and there's a spare underneath, and your exhaust. Again, this can tow up to 6,000 pounds. The 3rd row, you just grab this here, pull it up, and then you can pull this here, and you can recline quite a bit, so that's always nice to have. So that kind of shows you how you can use the storage, so on and so forth. The 12-volt on this side. And since I wasn't able to try the rear seat leg room on the driver's side, I'll show you on the passenger side. And again, this is what I mean when I say the space is really good for this kind of vehicle. It's fantastic. And you can also move the seat forward and back as well. But seat back pockets are on both sides. And it's just nice that you can configure this any old way if you so choose. And what is that, 3 bottle holders in the door panels. You have 2 up here and then 2 in the back. That's a lot of cups. But your anchors right there. Fold the seat flat like that. And then from the back, you can hit the button and tumble it forward using that, so you can get easy access in and out. Child locks, lock, unlock there. I don't know what that was, it just flew in there. And then front passenger seat, two-way power lumbar support here. I like that we get the lumbar support here. I wasn't expecting that, even though it's a platinum. Storage underneath the shifter. A pocket up here for storage, and then a lockable glove compartment there. And then even a netted pocket storage there. Y'all can pause anywhere you need to take a closer look at the window sticker. But this sticker's at $52,485, so not a bad price, I think, for what you get. As we come back around to the front, just a quick look in the engine bay. And then we have that 3.5 liter V6. Now for the blinkers, we do get the LED in the side mirror, but then we get the kind of incandescent bulbs everywhere else, so not the best, but it is what it is. Nice leather wrap steering wheel here. I like the flat bottom feel. There's the horn. And then to the radio, here's the navigation system. And where this is kind of dated before the subscription services and all that, I like that we have the, what the heck is that thing flying around? I like that we have the built-in nav and all of that there. But for audio, we get AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth, and then we get that wireless Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto compatibility. See if I can scare this bug out of here. There it is. Bose sound system over there. Just trying to come back in here. And then for your presets, if you ever have that in the radio, you can just hold here, and then it'll beep at you, letting you know that it's set up. Settings are here. I like to go to this others to show the language that can be changed there. Units of measurement can be changed here. And then everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Your apps are in here. There's the home page. Again, navigation system, your sources, backup camera, guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. Now I'm actually impressed with this backup camera. You get the bird's eye view too, but it actually looks really good for it to be in this, I guess, older. It hasn't had a redesign in a long time. So for that, I'm impressed with the camera, because the camera looks better in here than the new Armadas. So I just thought that was kind of wild. Hazards are there. Volume knob, turn the audio off there. And then you have your tune scroll knob, and you can push for the sound. You can adjust your bass, so on and so forth. And then down here, we have our dual zone automatic climate controls, 3-stage heated cooled front seats. We can control the fan direction here, fan speed here, cut the whole system on or off here, and then your auto mode, sync, AC, all of that. It is hot, so I'm gonna put that back how I had it. Now down here, 12 volt wireless charging pad, USB-C, USB-A input. You can use those to run the CarPlay, Android Auto. And then for the shifter, hit the brake, hit this button on the side, pull down for drive. You can tap for your manual, and then you can use the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. And then you can hold up for neutral, hit the button, pull all the way up for reverse, press P for park there. Auto stop toggles here. You get an electronic parking brake, which you can pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage, automatic brake hold there. And then you get several drive modes. So you have Eco, Snow, Standard, Sport, Tow, which is pretty nice to have on this two-wheel drive, even though it is a platinum. Center console cubby space right in here. Garage door transmitter is integrated in the rear view mirror. Again, it's kind of showing its age. We still have the yellow dome lights here, but you can tilt or slide this roof back. So that's a one-touch slide back there. Hit it a second time, goes back that far. But there's a look at the back seat from up here. And then your sunglasses holder right here. Vanity mirror. And then back to the steering wheel itself. Let me finish closing these roofs up. Blinkers on this side, high beams, and then your auto high beams can be toggled here. Your auto low beams are there. And then you do get automatic wipers. So one time off, auto, low, high. You can adjust that auto sensitivity there in the middle. Your rear wiper intermittent on there. Push back for that rear wiper fluid, pull up for the front. And then your volume is here. Trackless or radio station presets can be toggled there. Shortcut menu, pull this up, use the scroll bar to go through your options. You can change the meter view if you want to, which is kind of cool. And then you can use this to go through the sub menus. And then this, you can scroll through when applicable. So quite a few different views that you can take advantage of. Voice recognition, Bluetooth, gap adjust for the adaptive cruise, and then turn this on, and this gets your adaptive cruise going. And then you have the lane assistance as well. Push button starts there. Here's your heads-up display. Finally, here's your key fob with remote start. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2025 Pathfinder Platinum out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Pathfinder Platinum here, really like this V6. Wouldn't be surprised if this gets a redesign here shortly, and then you start to see a Turbo 4 or something like that. But hopefully we get the V6, or better yet, like a twin turbo V6 like you see in the Armada. That'd be awesome. But I mean, the V6 in these has always been really good, and since it's got its redesign a few years back, made it with a 9-speed as opposed to the CVT, it's just that much better of a vehicle, I think. They did the right thing in putting a traditional 9-speed automatic in here as opposed to that continuously variable transmission. And it does show in how this is more engaging to drive. It just doesn't feel like something that could just give out at any moment. Now that has its pluses in cars like the Sentra, the Versa, where people just use those as commuters for beating around town. But in something where you're supposed to be towing, you want something that feels like a true SUV, something you're not scared to go off-road in or put your foot in. I just think you need to have a traditional automatic transmission as opposed to a CVT. Now there are some that do it pretty well, like in the Corolla and the Subarus, where you have the paddle shifters that make it feel like a true shiftable transmission. But just throwing a CVT on everything, I just don't think that's the right way to go. So I'm glad Nissan is kind of shying away from that as it gets back to putting traditional transmissions in vehicles, or at least in vehicles that really need them. Now that's a big truck right there. Now another big plus here is just having the different drive modes. So having the Eco, having the Standard, having the Sport, as opposed to just having to go with the Standard mode, is a big plus here as well. Just makes it more engaging to drive, and depending on how you like to drive your vehicle or what situations you like to use certain drive modes in, it's nice to have that flexibility. But I think this got its refresh, was it 21, 22? I think it was 2022 when it got the redesign. And it was just so ahead of the curve, I think, because the Traverse didn't get the redesign that it just got for the 24, 25 model year. The Explorer was still pretty modern, but I mean, in terms of the design on the exterior, again, the Pathfinder had it beat. And then the Highlander, I think that got its redesign in 20, and it was still a nice design, but I just feel like the Pathfinder looked better front end and back end compared to the Highlander. So right now it's in kind of a gray area because I think the Traverse has had its redesign, the Explorer got a recent redesign, refresh, whatever, and then The Highlander's still starting to age a little bit. So we'll just have to see who comes out with something first. But I do think the Pathfinder still has a more modern look, other than the turn signals being those incandescent bulbs. But it's still something that when you see, you're like, oh, that's sharp. Now the Bose sound system in these sounds pretty good. The infotainment system, I like that it's kind of close. It intrudes just a little bit above where the dash is, but it doesn't go into your visibility at all, which is nice. And then the hood, it's so clean, like almost one shape, that even though it pops up a little bit, it doesn't really affect my visibility because it doesn't scare me, if that makes sense. Like some of these hoods, it's not necessarily that they're bad on visibility, but they just move so much, you're like, am I this close? Am I that close? Just based on how much you can see. But we're gonna put her in sport mode and see what she can do. Here we go. So, I mean, the V6 is pretty good. Now, it doesn't feel as quick as a twin turbo in the Armada, but still very, very potent here in this Pathfinder. Now we do get the lane assistance here, so it kind of centers you in the lanes for the most part. I will say the newer support system that you get in the Nissans feels a bit more on point, but it's pretty good for what it is. Now I do want to give one more thanks to John Roberts Nissan here in Manchester, Tennessee for allowing me to review this vehicle today. I'll leave a link below in the description. But if you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. But I mean, sound acoustics in here are pretty good. It drives very nicely. It's very easy to drive. The big plus with this is you have a naturally aspirated V6 that's still giving you 20 miles per gallon city with a 9-speed auto. And then the 27 highway is really good as well. And it's just a good, solid SUV. Even though it hasn't had its redesign or refresh in a few years, it still feels modern. It still feels fresh. It still feels new. And especially with this chestnut interior, it feels luxurious. And just having like the heads-up display, the lane center, and the adaptive cruise, it's a good overall choice if you're trying to get that around 50 grand price point there, but you want the best of the best. I feel like new vehicles like this now, they're going for 60 because of inflation and blah blah blah, but this still feels good for that 52, 53 grand sticker point, and you get everything that you can get on a vehicle, at least on this vehicle. So with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2025 Nissan Pathfinder in the Platinum trim level.